Alright, yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. For today, this was requested by a fellow viewer. This was who was the strongest in the Murder Time Trio. Insanity Sands. This is by Fourine 885. Shout out to you, my boy. But yeah, I know a lot about the Murder Time Trio because of the videos you guys requested. Me personally, I think it's Insanity Sands. I think he's the strongest. Some people said he's not, some people said he is, but I feel like he is the strongest, you know, because, like, come on now. He took on like, what's his name? Delta Sands. He took him on, bro, and he almost destroyed him. But that's just my personal opinion. Nobody has to agree with it, which is completely fine. I just always thought he was a cool character. But without further ado, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share the video with friends, and let's get into it.
The Murder Time Trio is a gathering of Dust, Horror, and Killer. They usually operate in some squad or trio, but we never get to see them fight each other. But if they did have a free-for-all, then who would win?
Insanity. I feel like Insanity or Horror Sands would win. Nah, I feel like Killer Sands would win. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I feel like Insanity would just win.
Insanity Sands has had a pretty long history ever since its making. He was originally made by Zero Dantiro, with his first appearance being about his theme song. Insanity was given light by a series called The Villain Sand Squad, and it's sad to see what the creator did. Generally thought he was a normal person. Holy shit, bro, why is everyone in this fandom weird? Zero Dantiro didn't care about it more, so he moved into a guy named Why did I stutter, bro? He moved into a guy named Cosmetic Cloud, and Cosmetic Cloud didn't want it, so he moved it to UTF. I didn't really include everything, but that's basically the story of it.
That's the fight that we reacted to. That was an insane fight. If you guys haven't seen that, make sure you check that out on my channel. It was an insane fight, bro.
Sandy's attack is the same as his defense, meaning his attack potency should scale to his durability. And Sandy was able to survive getting sent through the front room to the last corridor by Asgore, with it destroying parts of the corridor wall in the process. Calculations have this at large building, with Insanity scaling to it in AP and durability. For speed, he can attack first faster than they can react, granting him subsonic combat and attack speed, since he mainly uses bones and melee. For hacks, since Insanity has determination, he can save, load, reset, and erase. Saving and loading is weird for cross-verse matchups like this, since it depends on who's more determined than the other. So I'm gonna take save and load away just to avoid confusion. But on the erase part, you can use this to say he has an existence erasure. And it's stated that he can erase timelines since he has determination. And it's more described to be some weird ability, so yeah, it's consistent. Oh yeah, he can also resist existence erasure, so that's cool too. He can also resist death.
I did not know that. I did not know he can't be erased. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. That's some Sun Jin Woo type shit, bro.
And take attacks that should have killed him, but it's only like one attack, so it's not that useful. Oh, I almost forgot to mention hard mode Insanity, but this form only happens when Insanity gets angry. In this form, his soul explodes out of his body due to the amount of power. Assuming this is a 2x amp due to the description, he should get to large building plus, or maybe even city block level. Oh yeah, and higher into subsonic. For stamina, his determination also gave him infinite magic potential, so maybe infinite stamina, I don't know, but it is consistent. So Insanity is large building to city block level with subsonic combat and attack speed. And due to determination, he has infinite stamina, along with existence erasure and the ability to resist death. Man, Insanity really went from a UOB victim to city block level. Let's move on to Murder Sands.
Okay, so let's keep track. Insanity is building block block level, building block level. So let's move on. I feel like he's higher than that, but actually no. Did he say building? Did he say city block level, or I think he said?
Let's move on to Murder Sands. Stamina, along with existence erasure and the ability to resist death. Man, Insanity really went from a UOB victim to city block level.
So he said city block level. I don't know why I said building block. So city block. Okay.
Move on to Murder Sands. Dusttail is 9 years old now. Yes, 9 years old. And he's gotten many takes and AUs around this one singular alternate timeline. It originally started as some Reddit and Tumblr posts, but then someone made 2 themes of it, and Murder Sands slowly started becoming mainstream. But with all the canon content he has, how strong was Murder Sands? Now I'm gonna start with IQ and battle IQ since it gives Murder a pretty big advantage in this fight. He always plans ahead and he's constantly calculating his actions. He's nearly mastered himself and he's as good at melee combat as the human, which is the same human who's been through 7 to 100 resets. A similar thing happens in the novels where the human has statements of doing the genocide route hundreds of times, yet they're still forced to get adjusted to Murder's attacks. He also keeps distance from people he's wary of, as well as have fans and Papyrus gather information for him. Lastly, he knows the game system and he destroys save points and other things that favor humans. Murder
Sands is actually kind of nuts, to be honest.
And able to make save points lose function by giving the human terrible memories or destroying certain places. So his IQ and battle IQ is pretty good, but let's get into attack potency. To be honest, Murder Sands' scaling is just annoying to do in general, so I'm just gonna do a quick and simple scale for him. For standard stuff, he shattered the Ruins door with his Gaster Blaster. He also scales above Undyne, who can destroy cliffs. And lastly, he destroyed the whole lab with his blasters. Given the size of the lab and everything in it, this feat should get to large building.
And that's okay. It's a lab. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like too insane since it's just a lab.
He seemingly tanked the lab destruction, so his durability should scale to it. Problem is, his bone attacks and normal attacks don't scale to his blasters. And the best he has is barely blocking Undyne spears. So his bones should be like wall to small building, but basically featless in physicals. So in AP, Murder scales to small building to large building. Murder in the building level ranges is pretty consistent for him, so let's get into speed. Murder Sands is featless in speed. There is literally no feat that scales him above average human. He has light speed blasters, but you can easily just aim dodge them. I don't have much to say because there's not really much to go off of, so I'm just gonna go to the hack section. Murder doesn't really have that much hacks other than like standard Sands attacks, but he still has KR, but that's not gonna be useful. I don't know why people mention it. He doesn't really have amazing stamina since he suffers from fatigue, and he usually sleeps and takes breaks in the novels, so I'm gonna just put it at average human.
I did not know he had novels. Okay.
Sands isn't really all that in power, but he is pretty well written, unlike the canon one. I'd put him at B tier in writing, honestly. But this isn't a writing analysis video, it's a scaling video. And in conclusion, Murder Sands is small to large building with average human levels of speed. His IQ and battle IQ are pretty good for his Sands AU, but he only has standard Sands attacks. Honestly.
Okay, I would say like Murder Sands, from the animations that I've seen, I'm gonna say this. I feel like he's like out of Versal. No, that's too high. I would feel like he's like I'm gonna scale him a little lower. I feel like he's Continental, right? City Block? No, Continental. I feel like Continental's because like I feel like his power is enough since he can like he's leveled up so much from killing so many monsters. I feel like he can like take out like a nation, by himself.
Murder Sands gets overglazed, so I'm gonna move on to horror.
Wait, did he already say? I'm not listening, bro. Hold on.
In the novels, so I'm gonna just put it at average human. Murder Sands isn't really all that in power, but he is pretty well written, unlike the canon one. I'd put him at B tier in writing, honestly. But this isn't a writing analysis video, it's a scaling video. And in conclusion, Murder Sands is small to large building with average human levels of speed. His IQ and battle,
I feel like he's higher than that. Come on now, bro. The animations that I've seen, I feel like he is higher.
IQ are pretty good for his Sands AU, but he only has standard Sands attacks. Honestly, Murder Sands,
and at the beginning, I thought he was talking about Killer Sands. I don't know why I said like. I thought he was talking about killer, murder, it's whatever.
Sands gets overglazed, so I'm gonna move on to horror.
My goat.
Horror Sands is a pretty well-written character, and I'd put him at B tier along with Murder Sands. And fortunately, he's gotten pretty popular in the fandom due to games and comics. Horror Sands is pretty underrated in his scaling though. Starting with his AP, his full-on bone zone was able to destroy the core, with his singular bones being able to pierce it. His eye was even able to power the whole core, making his building to large building scaling even more consistent. So Horror's singular bones should be building, while his eye and overall bone zone amp him to large building. There's a calc that gets Horror to multi-city block, but it would be pretty tedious trying to fit everything on the screen. So I'll just link it in the description if you want to see it. Unlike Murder, Horror actually has speed feats. He's able to blitz Eliza on multiple occasions. Even in the comics, he blitzes her and makes her fall into blue snow. And he does it again despite being a few feet away. And all of this makes Subsonic Horror surprisingly consistent. Now in earlier videos, I said Horror was featless in durability, but that's not the case at all. He survives an attack from Papyrus who's comparable to Undyne. The same Undyne who can break Sands' building level bone attacks. And the same Undyne who tanked an attack from him. All of this goes back to Sands making his durability building level. Undyne also trusts her guards to kill anyone who rebels, so her guards should be in that building level scaling as well. And funnily enough, Horror survives attacks for them. So yeah, building level. For stamina, he was able to fight Undyne even after being sleep deprived and injured by the guards. He collapsed due to this and got his eye and a quarter of his head removed, but came back and killed 2 other guards and destroyed the core. He then somehow found the time to lobotomize Alphys and teleport back to Snowdin to deliver a speech. This was all when he was sleep deprived, by the way, so I think his stamina speaks for itself. Other than the standard Sans moveset, Horror has pretty decent hacks. He's able to reflect attacks and explode heads. The exploding heads part is debatable since he never uses this again, and he wasn't even aware of what was happening. But the attack reflection part is justifiable, cause not much people shoot ranged attacks at Horror Sans, so it makes sense on why he doesn't use it much. For IQ, he's able to come up with solutions to restoring the core, even possessing insider.
Yeah, because Sans is actually like, when you like look into it, the stuff that I read about Sans is that he was, I don't know if it's true or not, but he was like a scientist or whatever before he decided to, like, you know, before all the genocide routes and everything, he was like a scientist, so he was like super smart. I don't know if that's canon or not. You guys let me know in the comment section, but that's what I was told.
Information about it and making
not what I was told, what I read. Not what I was told. I read it.
Calculations to restore it. So overall, Horror is building to large building with subsonic speed.
See, like, your boy's been keeping up, bro. Your boy's been like reading some content and some context in some of these videos, bro.
He can reflect his hacks, and his IQ should be above average human to maybe gifted. So for some Sans AU, Horror Sans is pretty strong, but let's move on to Killer Sans.
Alright, let's go to Killer Sans, bro. Mind you, Killer Sans has a dope design, bro.
In my opinion, Killer Sans is A tier writing wise. His origin and execution always felt unique and creative to me. If you want to know why I'm saying this, go watch this video because I'm really proud of it. Anyways, Killer is canon to Dreamtail lore, so we can use Dreamtail feats to scale Killer. Killer was able to be Dream Sans who can punch others to the moon. This moon feat was calced to small town level, but you can get Dream to town level since he's able to fight Nightmare Sans. The same Nightmare who destroyed the surroundings of Tree, which was calced to town level. With all of this upscaling Killer as well. For speed, he's able to blitz other monsters and he can make shockwaves. So Killer should be subsonic to transonic. For hacks, I took save and load away from Insanity for obvious reasons, so it's only fair to remove it from Killer. But other than that, he pretty much has standard Sans attacks and a cool blaster. In IQ and Battle IQ, I generally thought Killer was gonna be average human or something like that. But no, Killer has seen thousands of resets. He's attacked many AUs to boost Nightmare's negativity. And he's aware of AU rules as well as the player's view in said AU. Please pause to read because not even Nightmare knows about this. The same Nightmare who's as old as time itself. So Killer is pretty well knowledgeable in general, but what about stamina? Well, Killer throughout something new has shown no sign of fatigue at all, and he doesn't even sleep, meaning he should have infinite stamina or at least extremely high amounts of it. So in conclusion, Killer is small town to town level with subsonic to transonic speeds. His IQ is gifted and he has broader knowledge on higher beings in general, and he has infinite stamina. You can get Killer to Universal with a lot of scans, but I'm gonna save them for another video, and I want this matchup to be more grounded for everyone so it doesn't.
Universal's kinda high. I mean, I love Killer too. I think he's a cool like version of Sans, but Universal's kinda high, bro.
Feel like an absolute stomp.
Universal's kinda high, bro. I could be wrong though. Hey, yo, he's the one that looked up this, looked up the stuff, but I feel like Universal's kinda high.
So between these four, who would win in a free-for-all? Well,
Insanity.
Honestly, it would be hard to say because there's multiple outcomes to this, so I'm gonna try to accurately show how the fight would go. Murder, Horror, and Killer will have a standoff waiting for someone to make the first move. Murder teleports away along with Horror stepping back due to Insanity lunging towards Killer due to his LV. Insanity will proceed to punch Killer into new home, and that's how the fight would start. Now Killer would be caught off guard due to Insanity not being predictable in general, but he's still low dis Insanity due to the AP and speed difference. Insanity gets angry about this and transforms into hard mode Insanity. Sadly, hard mode wouldn't significantly buff Insanity to Killer's level, so he still gets low diff. Murder would teleport back to the last quarter after that interruption and attack Horror. Now Murder would definitely outsmart Horror due to having better battle IQ, but he'd still have trouble hitting him in general. And he has a major disadvantage in hack since Horror can reflect his attacks. Murder has significantly lower stamina than Horror, so Horror can just outlast Murder too. Horror also has a huge range advantage, so he could overwhelm Murder with his bone attacks. Even if Murder gets blessed by some miracle, he'd still have to destroy his eye, since his eye is what's keeping him alive. And Horror just has all around better AP than Murder since Murder can only get to large building with his blasters. Overall, Horror wins with low to mid difficulty, but how would he face Killer Sans? Well, Horror wouldn't let him get close since he knows he would instantly die if that happens. And since Killer doesn't really have any travel speed feats, he wouldn't have a way of speeding towards Horror. So how would Killer win? Simple. Remember when Killer made that shockwave? Well, Killer can just make another shockwave towards Horror, blitzing him entirely. Killer has more win content than this since he can just shoot any bone at him and Horror wouldn't be able to react to it. Killer Sans wins with low to mid difficulty.
Damn, I did not know Killer is that strong, bro. That's actually
I wanted
nuts.
to cancel this video for a while because no matter how you downplay Killer, he's still gonna be busted regardless. And no matter how you overhype Murder, he's still gonna be fodder. And Sandy has no IQ and he doesn't even have—
Damn, chat. I do know some people in my chat that love Dust Sans. Damn, chat. Dust Sans might be a fraud, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He might be a fraud.
Have any feats, just pure statements. So I could be wrong on Insandy for all I know. Horror is fine because he actually has feats and supporting statements to go off of. So I'm not gonna complain about him. But yeah, that's about it. Make sure to stay safe and goodbye. Heavy on stay safe because how are y'all niggas dying of common colds? Like,
Okay. Okay. Alright, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, bro. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more videos like this, let me know in the comment section. But without further ado, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share the video with your friends. And I'll see y'all boys later. Bye.